Good evening, guys, and welcome to interview preparation session, which is conducting by 360 DGTMG. In previous sessions, we have been gone across some of the questions regarding Python and data science, right? So yeah, today also will be go across. I've been done this class regarding like two different variants, which is of Q&A and choose the correct answers. First of all, first question for the day, guys. Yeah. So the first question is. We want to predict the probability of death regarding the heart disease based on three factors. Those are age, gender, and blood cholesterol levels. What is the most appropriate algorithm for using these cases? So, and the options are logistic regression, linear regression, k-means clustering, and a priori rule. So, among these options, would which might be the best regression technique, which might be the best option to check the heart disease based on the three factors, which is an appropriate option for it. So, if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box, and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah. Now, as we look into this, and the answer is the most appropriate algorithm for such cases are logistic regressions, which means by using this logistic regression, we can predict the probability of the deaths which are due to this heart disease based on the three different factors. So by those factor in by considering all those factors, the best appropriate algorithm to choose is logistic regression. Okay, so as we jump into the next question, yeah, after studying the behavior of a population, you have identified four specific individual types that are valuable to your study. So you would like to find all users who are most similar to each individual type. Which algorithm is most appropriate for such kinds of studies? And the options are k-means, linear regression, association rules, and decision tree. So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box, and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah. Now as we look here, for this kind of behavior analytics and algorithms, we can choose and the answer is, as we are looking for grouping people together specifically by four different similarities. So there we have mentioned four different similarities in the question, so it indicates the value of k. Therefore, k means clustering. Answer a is the most appropriate algorithm for this kind of studies. Okay, so as we jump into the next question, so here I've been using this kind of syntax. So you have run the association rules algorithm on your dataset, and two rules, which means this banana comma apple, which is equal to grape, and apple and orange equal to grape, have been founded to be relevant. So what else must be true? And the options are banana, apple, grape, orange must be of frequent item sets, or banana and apple almost equal to orange must be a relevant rule. Grape equal to banana comma apple must be a relevant rule. Grape comma apple must be a frequent item. So in these four options, what might be the preferred option? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah. As we look here, and the most preferred option among these options are option A, where grape, apple must be of same item sets. Okay, so as we directly jump into the next question, your organization has a website where visitors randomly receive one of two coupons. So it is also possible that visitors to this website will not receive a coupon. So you have been asked to determine if offering a coupon to website visitors has any impact on their purchase decision. So which kind of analysis method would you see? And the options are one-way ANOVA, K means clustering, association rules, student test. Which means suppose you have been going across some online shopping, so some of them can get a coupons and most of them can't get a coupons, right? So is those coupons were getting because of the shopping, the amount of shopping they are done? So by which analysis we can find it? So these were the options, and if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah. Among these options, the best option to choose is option A, one way ANOVA. Okay. So as we directly jump into the next question, what are feature vectors? So what are this actually they mean? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah. Now as we look into this, what are these feature engines? A feature vector is an n-dimensional vector of numerical features which represents an object. It is an n-dimensional vector. It totally represents some objects in machine learning. So these feature vectors are used to represent either numeric or symbolic characters, which are called as features of an object. So it basically shows the vector represents the numeric and symbolic characteristics of which are called as features and of an object in a mathematical way. So that's easy to which is easy to analyze. Okay, this is how the feature vector works. So as we jump into the next question, what is root cause analysis? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah, as we look into this, what are this root cause analysis? These root cause analysis were initially developed to analyze the industrial accidents, but it's a widely used in other areas, not only in industrial accidents, but we can also use this root cause analysis in many other areas. So it is a problem solving technique used to isolating the root causes of faults or any problems inside a machine or inside a technique and all. So a factor is called a root cause if in case it sorry, it detects from the problem fault sequences over the final undesirable event from the recurring statements. So this is how the root cause for analysis works on. So as we jump into the next question, what is logistic regression? So as we seen before in the multiple choice questions, I've been asked a question regarding that health heart rate, right? So for that we have used logistic regression. So what is logistic regression? How does it work? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah. Now, as we look into this, what is this logistic regression? This logistic regression is also known as some logic models. So it is a technique used to forecast the binary outcomes from a linear combination of predictor variables. So this is the function of a logistic regression, and this is how it works. So as we directly jump into the next question, what are recommender systems? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box, and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah. As we look into this, what are the recommender systems? So these recommender systems are subclasses of information some filtering systems which are meant to predict the preferences or ratings with that our users would give to a product. Okay, so as we jump into the next question, explain cross validation. So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box, and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah. Now, as we look into this across the cross validation part, cross validation. This cross validation is an model validation technique. So, which is used for evaluating how the outcomes of an statistical analysis will generate to an independent data sets. For each and every independent data set, how does the outcomes of the statistic analysis will generate? So it is mainly used in backgrounds where the objective is to forecast and one wants to estimate how accurate a model will accomplish in practice. So the goal of this cross validation is to term a data set to test the model in the training phase, which means validating the data sets to limit those problems like overfitting and gain insights into the model and then generate to an independent data set. This is how the cross validation should work. So as we directly jump into the next question, what is collaborative filtering? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah, as we look into this collaborative filtering, yeah, most recommender systems use this filtering process to find the patterns and information by collaborating perspectives, numerous data sources, and several agents. So, to consider to gain the informations by using all these circumstances, we use this collaborative filtering. So, as we jump into the next question, do gradient descent method always converge to similar points? Do they? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah, as we look into this, do gradient descent method always converge to similar points? They do not, because in some cases, in some mild cases, they reach a local minima or local optimum point. So by reaching there, you would not reach to this optimal point, right? So this is because due to the data and the starting conditions, like whereby the similar points have been started, recorded, and this governed by the data and the starting conditions. Okay, so as we jump into the next question, what is the goal of A by B testing? So what does this testing mean? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah, Raghu, they won't converge, right? You're right. So yeah, as we look into this, what is the goal of this A by B testing? So, as we come across this testing, this is an statistical hypothesis testing for randomized experiment, which means regarding two variables A and B. Suppose you have been testing regarding two variables A and B. The objectives of these both the variables A by B testing is to detect any changes to a web page to maximize or increase the outcomes of the strategy. So this is the main aim, which means how to detect the changes and all. So this is how this A by B testing goal is, and it works on. So as we jump into the next question, what are the drawbacks of linear model? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah, as we look into this, like the drawbacks of linear models. So, yeah, the assumptions of this linearities of the error, it can't be used for count outcomes or any binary outcomes. So there are overfitting problems which can't be solved. So these are the few drawbacks for this linear model. So as we jump into the next question, what is the law of large numbers? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah, as we look into this, what is the law of large numbers? So this is a theorem that describes the result of performing the same experiment very frequently, which means experimentation should be done on the same experiment frequently. This theorem forms the basics of frequency style thinking. Okay, this theorem, it basically forms the basics of this frequency style thinking. It states that the sample mean, sample variance, and sample standard deviation, it all of this converges to what they are trying to estimate. So all of this, which means the standard mean, mean variance, and standard deviation, they were all convergent with the uh, types which are trying to estimate. So this is how the law of large numbers work. So as we jump into the next question, what are confounding variables? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah. So as we look into this, what are these confounding variables? And these are these are some kind of extraneous variables in a statistic model which correlates directly or inversely with both the with they directly correlates or inversely with both the independent and dependent variables. The estimation fails to count for the co- uh, confounding factor. So the estimation will be done, right? This estimation fails to account for this confounding factor. So as we jump into the next question. Yeah. What is star schema? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah. What is star schema? It is an traditional database schema with a central table. These satellite tables like maps, IDs to some physical names or descriptions can be connected to that central fact table using the ID fields. Okay, they might be connecting all these satellite tables, IDs, physical names, and all can be connected to the central table using their ID fields. So these tables are known as lookup tables and are principally used in real-time applications. These are used in real-time applications as they have a lot of memory. It has a bulk amount of memory over there. Sometimes these star schemas involves several layers of summarization to recover information faster and safer. So that's how this star schema works. So as we jump into the next question, what are eigenvalues and eigenvectors? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah, as we look into the eigenvectors and eigenvalues, eigenvalues are the directions along with a particular linear transformation which acts by flipping, compression, or stretching. So these were called as eigenvalues. As we come across the eigenvectors, these are for understanding some linear transformations. And in this data analysis, we usually calculate the eigenvectors for a correlation or covariance matrix. Okay, so and the next question is, why is resampling done? Why should this resampling should be done while executing the process? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer in a minute. Yeah, as we look into the how is this resampling done? This resampling is done by the following cases: by estimating the accuracy of sample statistics by using the subsets of accessibility data, or drawing some random with replacing the sets of data points. This is one kind of process. While we can use here the resampling technique, and substituting labels on data points when performing significant tests, and validating those models by using some random subsets like bootstrapping, cross validation. So by using these for the different cases where we can use this resampling process. So as we jump into the next question, what is an selection bias? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah. And now as we look into this, what is the selection bias? This selection bias is a problematic situation in which errors are introduced due to some non-random population sample. So this is called a selection bias. As we jump into the next question, what are the types of biases that can occur during this sampling? Which means just now we have been talked about that sampling techniques and all, right? So methods and all, right? So what were the different types of biasing for using this sampling? So if anyone knows the answer, can ping me in the chat box and we'll discuss the answer within a minute. Yeah, as I mentioned here, there are three types of biasing techniques, and those are selection bias, undercoverage bias, and survivorship bias. Yeah, these were the three types of biasing technique we use. So that's it for the day, guys. Thanks for watching, and let's meet in the next session, guys. Goodbye. Have a great day. Bye.